very good evening. You're tuned on to the Saturday's edition of Primetime News, and we are coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. I'm Joel Outskun. Let's start off with a look at the headlines.
Joint opposition divided over the executive presidency. Minister Navin Dissanayake calls for change in the UNP. Former finance minister says VAT needs to be dropped to 9%. 2 drowned in strong currents in the Berwala Seas. Funeral turns to a protest in Horana. Royal College wins first leg of the 74th Bradby Shield.
We start off the news with some weather-related news. Now, the Disaster Management Centre has requested fishermen to refrain from setting out to sea, as the sea area from Puttalam to Batticaloa will be rough from tonight.
The Disaster Management Centre says sea areas off coast of Puttalam, Negombo, Colombo, Kalatura, Hambantota to Batticaloa will be rough from tonight to the 23rd of this month. The Disaster Management Centre says the surf in those areas could increase by 2 to 3 meters.
In some tragic news this evening, now a brother and sister drowned after they were swept away by strong currents while on an excursion to the Berwala lighthouse.
27-year-old Ahmed and his 24-year-old sister, along with several others from Princess Gate, Colombo 12, had visited Berwala this morning. The siblings were caught off guard by strong waves when they were seated on rocks and washed away. They were pulled out of water and brought to shore by boat and were rushed to the Berwala hospital. However, they did not survive. During the recent holiday season, several people drowned during excursions to several areas. A 28-year-old youth and 17-year-old girl drowned recently when going to bathe in the Kule Kadavava in Galembidnuwava. A young woman drowned when bathing in the Kalini River in Yativeria, Kitulgala. 19-year-old youth died after drowning in the Nagalavava in Bibila. A minor and 4 adults who were sea bathing in Chilau were fortunate not to have drowned, as they were rescued by 2 youths in the area. It is the responsibility of authorities to put up warning signs at places where bathing could result in deaths. However, it is also the responsibility of the public to be cautious and vigilant when going to bathe in unknown places. The general public and authorities, this is for your attention.
Indeed, some tragic news reported to you. So once again, a reminder, please stay safe as the weather is not that favorable for all of us. With that, still in some tragic news, now the funerals of 4 of the 5 men who died of ammonia gas poisoning at a rubber factory in Horana took place today.
On Thursday, one person had fallen into a tank containing ammonia gas when he was opening the tank at the rubber factory in Ballapitia, Horana. Another employee and 3 villagers who rushed to his rescue sadly died from ammonia gas poisoning. The post-mortem was performed at the Panaduru Base Hospital, and thereafter the bodies were handed over to the relatives. The first of all victim to this industrial accident was a 45-year-old father of 1, Heva Kankanamge Aryapala from Uggallabada Kalathara. 23-year-old Varuna Chandrasekhara from Ballapitia was an employee at the same factory and rushed to the rescue of Aryapala, risking his own life. His funeral took place today. 2 of the 3 villagers who risked their lives during this tragedy were 42-year-old Priyanta Kumara and 41-year-old Lal Pushpa Kumara. This was the situation that took place when the funeral procession of Lal Pushpa Kumara passed the factory in question. The final rites of the other victims, 34-year-old Dilip Kasun Lokupatranage from Ballapitia, is to be performed tomorrow. 19 people who fell unconscious during the incident continue to be treated at the Horana Base Hospital. Hospital Superintendent Thamara Kalubovila said 2 of them are being treated at the ICU and 1 of them is in serious condition.
Well, Queen Elizabeth II will turn 92 years old today, her 66th birthday since she ascended the throne in 1952. President Maithripala Sirisena will be among the world leaders who will be attending the celebration at the Royal Albert Hall. News First's Malshani Athanayaka reports from London.
Yesterday, the leaders' retreat was held at Windsor Castle, marking the formal end of the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting 2018. Sri Lankan President Maithripala Sirisena is to attend the special concert at Royal Albert Hall to mark the Queen's birthday.
Queen Elizabeth II is both the longest-serving and oldest British monarch ever, breaking the record set by Queen Victoria, her great-grandmother, in 2015. Princess Elizabeth Alexandra Mary was born on the 21st of April 1926. Princess Elizabeth dedicated her services during the Second World War and married Prince Philip in 1947. Her Majesty the Queen ascended the throne in 1952. Since then, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II has been the head of the Commonwealth and the UK. She is the mother of Charles, Prince of Wales, Prince Edward, Earl of Wessex, Princess Anne and Prince Andrew, Duke of York. During her 66-year reign in the throne, Her Majesty the Queen had visited Sri Lanka twice in 1954 and 1981.
This time, Commonwealth leaders gathered in London to discuss common issues and the global challenges faced by Commonwealth countries. Sri Lanka has been named as the country to give the leadership for the conservation of mangroves in Commonwealth countries. Sri Lankan President Maithripala Sirisena is to leave London tomorrow evening, London time. Malshani Athanayaka reporting for News First from London.
Thank you very much, Malshani, for those constant updates from London. Moving on to some more news, the IMF board is expected to consider Sri Lanka's request for completion of the fourth review in June 2018, subject to cabinet approval of an automatic fuel pricing mechanism consistent with the EFF-supported program. The measure would represent a major step towards completing energy pricing reforms in 2018.
The International Monetary Fund has reached a staff-level agreement with Sri Lanka on the fourth review under an economic reform program supported by a 3-year extended fund facility arrangement. In a statement, Manuela Goretti, the IMF mission chief for Sri Lanka, said following subdued growth in 2017 due to the lingering effects of weather-related shocks, a recovery is underway as agriculture has started to rebound and food prices decelerated. Real GDP growth is expected to reach 4% and inflation to remain below 5% in 2018. The IMF notes exports are also recovering and the recent sovereign bond issuance was successfully oversubscribed. However, adds the economy remains vulnerable to adverse shocks given the still sizable public debt, large refinancing needs and low external buffers. State Minister of Finance Eran Wickramaratne recently announced this matter would be further discussed with the IMF. Eran Wickramaratne, State Minister of Finance and Mass Media, represented Sri Lanka as the Chair Administrators of the Intergovernmental Group of 24 on International Monetary Affairs and Development. The meeting was graced by Christine Lagarde, the Managing Director of the International Monetary Fund, and Kristalina Georgieva, Chief Executive Officer of the World Bank. The IMF, in a statement, says progress in implementing the Inland Revenue Act and other revenue measures in the 2018 budget remains essential for meeting social goals and improving debt dynamics. It adds the central bank should continue to remain vigilant in guarding against inflationary pressures while continuing to build reserves and supporting greater exchange rate flexibility.
The Central Bank of Sri Lanka brought $146.46 million from the Treasury yesterday, which helped it to retire 18,442 million rupees of its face value money printing holdings, thereby helping to defray inflationary pressure by keeping demand on check.
The $146.46 million is part of the $2.5 billion the government of Sri Lanka raised last week by issuing sovereign bonds to the international market. A report goes on to note the central bank is the sole authority to issue new money to the market. The CBSL prints money and lends to the government of Sri Lanka in the absence of adequate revenue. But money printing may cause inflationary pressure while increasing the government's rupee debt. However, when the central bank retires some of its net treasury bill holdings without reissuing the same to itself, like what happened yesterday, it relieves inflationary pressure and reduces the government's rupee debt.
Now, former Finance Minister Ravi Karunanayake says the recently imposed tax on gold imports was not a necessary move.
Back then, I promised to reduce VAT, which was increased. I think the time has come to bring down VAT to 9%. I think imposing a 5% tax on gold imports was not necessary. Back then, it was aimed at the imports from Singapore and Dubai. However, this move is one taken without thinking ahead.
And in some buzz from the political arena now, the 16 Sri Lanka Freedom Party members who left the government are to request the Speaker to allocate seats for them in the opposition in Parliament.
When Parliament resumes on the 8th, all 16 SLFP members hope to be seated in the opposition side of Parliament. A statement has been made that this was not communicated to the Speaker. Therefore, an issue has arisen over the seating matter. We have decided to hand over a letter to the Speaker on the 8th for the allocation of seats for the 16 members in the opposition side of Parliament.
On the same note, several youth MPs in the joint opposition have called on the 16 members who left the government to join with the joint opposition.
We are prepared to work with a group that opposes theft and respects the mandate of the people by joining with the opposition, even if they don't join with us, the joint opposition. I believe the 16 former ministers and MPs will join the joint opposition soon to do justice to their political future and to the country. Before we embrace Duminda Dissanayake, he has embraced Ranil Wickramasinghe.
Minister Dr. Sarath Thammunugamu says the future of the government will be undertaken as a 2-year intra-governmental program. Dr. Thammunugamu is the head of the committee appointed by the President to inquire into the future of the coalition government. The minister said the drafting of the committee report is in its final stages.
I will prepare the final draft and hand it over to the other members of the committee. The President will return with new ideas, and when he comes, we will hand this over to him. The report is based on that. Both sides will discuss the contents of this report and then an agreement will be reached. These are not the ideas given by the UNP and are not 100% from our party as well. This will be a 2-year intra-governmental program. We cannot predict the actions of a politician. We see that in the newspapers. They will discuss it with party leaders and arrive at a decision. When that position is given, they need to be unbiased.
2 government ministers commented on the cabinet reshuffle today.
The President will return on the 23rd. Thereafter, the reshuffle will take place following discussions between the President and the Prime Minister. Since we only have another 2 years, there need not be any major changes. The ministers will have to start over again. It is better if we are able to continue in our existing portfolios. The President had noted that there will be a reshuffle in the SLFP cabinet ministers that could have taken place. Recently, there was talk of a complete cabinet reshuffle. However, the President and Prime Minister will have to discuss and make the relevant changes.
Minister Navin Dissanayake, responding to questions raised by journalists, commented on the present political situation.
I heard that when Tilanga Somadipala got involved, many were in trouble. This was done in 2001. They used SP Dissanayake for a conspiracy to bring down the Chandrika Kumaratunga government. If he did not fall victim to that, he could become a powerful presidential candidate for the SLFP. It was taken away from him. This time, Tilanga Somadipala had deceived the 16 SLFP members. They must decide whether to remain with the SLFP or to defect to the Flower Bud. From what I gather, 80% are prepared to join with the Flower Bud. Several weeks ago, the UNP held a secret ballot to appoint 10 preferred members to the Politburo. I was told I had secured the most number of votes. I think there needs to be a change from the grassroots level in the United National Party with regard to the leadership. How and when does that change need to happen? When it comes to the leadership, the party supporters have a large number of names with them, especially of the names of young leaders. You are aware of those names. I think there needs to be a change where those names are felt by party supporters. These positions need to be filled by the 30th. You cannot solve an issue by wasting time. If there are issues, those would reach the very top of the party. It is our duty to ensure those issues are known by the party leadership.
Minister John Amaratunga commented on restructuring of the United National Party.
A separate committee was appointed and it says the leader is the chairman. So how can there be a change? The changes will be for General Secretary, Deputy Chairman, Deputy General Secretary and Organizer. The latest information that reached me was some from the other side are to cross over here. We will continue with the remaining 2.5 years. There is no debate about that. The people have told us to appoint a strong parliamentary group. We stopped at 107 and that is the issue.
The JVP is preparing to move a proposal on the 20th Amendment to the Constitution for the abolishment of the executive presidency once Parliament reconvenes. Following the announcement of this move, the joint opposition has seen a split in opinions over the matter.
The JVP has decided to move the proposal on the 20th Amendment to the Constitution for the abolishment of the executive presidency following the recommencement of Parliament on the 8th of May.
The joint opposition would support the motion for the abolishment of the executive presidency. We will support it only if there is an agreement to dissolve Parliament the very day it is passed.
However, issuing a statement, leader of the National Freedom Party, MP Vimal Veerawansa says the joint opposition has not reached any understanding on such a decision. The statement says NFF would strictly object any attempt to reach such a decision. Vimal Veerawansa says it is wrongful to abolish the executive presidency at a time when the 30th Amendment to the Constitution is included in the Constitution.
It is no doubt that the United National Party and Ranil Wickremesinghe wants to support the JVP's proposal to abolish the powers of the presidency. But the way we see it, the possibilities of Ranil Wickremesinghe going in for a single-party government is the greatest danger.
This proposal has not been presented to Parliament as yet, and none of us are aware of its contents. When a decision is made, the parliamentary group would meet under the auspices of Mahinda Rajapaksa and reach the necessary decision. People have different opinions. I too wish to abolish the executive presidency. I will be cautious when speaking on this.
Also commenting on the present political situation is UPFA MP Vidura Vikramanayake.
The motion of no confidence was moved at the wrong time. Thereafter, they discussed it for weeks. It is the nature of the country to have a post-mortem once something takes place. Now they are speaking of abolishing the executive presidency and calling for a general election. The opposition must bear in mind they got a public mandate. The Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna was given a mandate. However, was it because of the strength of the party had or because of the burden on the people? They must understand this and build themselves.
Former President Chandrika Kumaratunga, speaking to reporters following an event in Attanagala, expressed the following.
Dylan Pereira has said, apart from the 16 MPs who left, several more are expected to leave.
You should ask that from Dylan. He is one who could not even win an election but entered parliament after pleading with me to be included into the national list. Once again he pleaded when he cannot contest and entered through the national list thanks to Maithripala Sirisena. Now he is dancing to the tunes of the others. His brother is one who engaged in business by making the government go bankrupt. These people need to speak on behalf of them. I need to state this. Back then, this person called Dylan Pereira continuously praised me as the best politician in the world. Now he refers to me as an outdated pack of noodles. If one outdated pack of noodles can topple a government, when 10 of us come together, we can change the world.
Will the government of good governance continue?
Absolutely.
When some SLFPers leave, will there not be an issue to continue with the government?
No.
Well, here's a look at several incidents reported during the past 24 hours surrounding the human-elephant conflict. Wild elephants from Thabbo Reservoir encroaching on villages has caused great inconvenience to many villages in Putlam. Most of those living in Katukuliam Weber, Bandaranayakapura, Evankulama, Simbala Weber and Nelli Weber depend on agriculture. However, a herd of wild elephants have destroyed almost all of their cultivation.
This is a 25-acre land which contained coconut trees. The elephants come across the sandhills and destroy everything. This happens most of the time. This does not happen on just one day. This is an issue because they break through the fence. We have to keep on maintaining the fence and have less time for our cultivation.
Wildlife officers have taken measures to provide treatment to an elephant calf suspended to have contracted the foot and mouth disease at the Kaudula National Park. Veterinarians believe the elephant calf may have caught the disease as it is spreading among cattle released into the park. Wildlife officers from Sigiriya had to experience an unusual incident yesterday when they reached the Digampatana area on the Hambarana-Dambula main road. This situation arose when they attempted to drive back into the wild an elephant known as the Veval Dalya 2. Well, the Japan Expo Sri Lanka 2018 exhibition began at a ceremony held at the BMICH this morning. The exhibition, which is being held for the second consecutive year, will go on until the 23rd of this month.
The ceremony to declare open the exhibition was held with the attendance of Minister Dr. Sarath Amanugama and Japanese Ambassador to Sri Lanka, Kenichi Sugunuma.
The relation between Sri Lanka and Japan has always been good, but we have been trying to improve it and make it even stronger for the past several years. Now we have more Japanese investment coming. We have more Japanese tourists. This year we will have hopefully more than 50,000, and that is 7% increase from last year.
Sri Lanka and Japan have been the best of friends, even from the time before we received independence. And I must say, even in the field of economic growth, Japan has been a wonderful partner.
An issue of serious mishandling of cargo at the Bandaranaike International Airport has been reported. According to documents seen by Newsfirst, the cargo containers of a certain international airline had not been locked properly, and it was only witnessed when the plane reached Hong Kong from Colombo.
It has been revealed on the said date, the 12th of February 2018, a ground safety report filed by Hong Kong informs serious safety breach in loading cargo that compelled Hong Kong to report the matter to Colombo, and no action whatsoever was taken for 4 days. Images show certain locks in the cargo containers had not been placed properly in the particular flight. According to documents, The Sri Lankan agent of the international airline had written to the ground handling department at the airport seeking an explanation and an inquiry. However, his request had only been answered after 4 days. Experts in the industry speaking to Newsfirst said if cargo is not secured properly in a plane, it poses a serious threat, as the cargo could force the back door of the plane to open and for the cargo container to fall off. They say one cannot ignore the fact the global aviation industry suffered 2 major accidents involving total loss of aircraft and crew in 1997 and 2013 respectively, where failure to secure cargo according to required procedures was a significant contributing factor.
The Combined Association of Unemployed Graduates convened a media briefing in Colombo today.
Interviews have just become dramas. Graduates who are over 35 years old have been called for interviews and then turned back. Who is the Minister of National Politics and Economic Affairs? Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. He committed the central bank scam and took away the money that could have been used for jobs. There is no process to fill the vacancies. Do not play with the lives of graduates.
අපි අවධාරණය කරනවා සෙල්ලම් කරන්න එපා උපාධානක ජීවිතත් එක්ක.
Royal College Colombo beat Trinity College Kandy 39 points to 7 in the first leg of the 74th Bradby Shield, which was played at the Royal College Sports Complex earlier this evening.
Royal College Colombo and Trinity College Kandy began their rivalry in 1920 as just an annual encounter between the two schools. Later in 1945, the then principal of Royal College, E.L. Bradby, proposed that the game be played as 2 legs. The encounter has been named the Bradby Shield ever since. Over the years, the two teams have locked horns for the Bradby Shield. Trinity College Kandy has won the most number of games, winning 39, and Royal College Colombo winning 32. The first leg of the 2018 Bradby Shield kicked off at the Royal College Sports Complex today. The Royalists dominated at the outset of the game, finishing the first half with 19 points to 0. Royal College Colombo added 20 more points to the board in the second half, while the lads from Kandy managed to score just 7 points. The final score of the game was 39 points to 7 in favour of Royal College Colombo. The second leg of the Bradby Shield will be worked off on the 5th of May at the Pale Cali grounds.
Shifting gears to 26th Foxhill Supercross 2018 was held at the Foxhill circuit in the Athalawa today. The Champion Network, MTV MBC and Newsfirst were the official media sponsors of the event.
This year's Supercross consisted of 12 motor car events and 12 motorcycle events. Championships were awarded to the best racers for the year 2018 and best motorcyclist of the year. Ishan Disanayake was adjudged the best motorcyclist for 2018. Ashan Silva was named best racer. The motor rally was organized by the Sri Lanka Military Academy in collaboration with Sri Lanka Army Motorsports Committee and Sri Lanka Automobile Sports.
Well, that's a wrap of the news for today. Thank you very much for stopping by. For more, log on to www.newsfirst.lk. I'm Joel Artskun. Take care. Good night. God bless you.